Welcome to Chaotic Harmony. My name is John.
This is Crystal. We talk about the joys and the challenges of teaching music in the elementary school classroom.
We share struggles, we brainstorm solutions.
And we would love to have you join us. Welcome back, everyone. We are so excited to be sitting around the table again, talking to each other and to you. Jonathan just came back from an adventure, and I'm a little jealous. I chose not to go to AOSA conference this year because my children still haven't received their full vaccination round. So until that happened, I just wasn't comfortable mixing with everyone across the country. But man, I feel like I missed out for sure.
It was a good time. It was very different. I mean, I can't say it was different because the only conference I've been to was Salt Lake City back in 2019. You've been to two before.
I have. This was only your second one.
Second one.
Yeah. So the theme was Better Together.
Yes.
And how did it play out? Do you feel better now that you've been together?
As cheesy as it sounds, yes, I do. I didn't realize. So I'm an introvert. Yeah. I'm very much introvert. When I landed, is like I felt just like, okay, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do, what the right thing to do, et cetera, et cetera. But once I started hanging out with people and getting together, it's like, this feels good. Yeah. It took about a day, to be honest. Like, again, I'm an introvert. So, like, even when I was with good friends of mine, it took a while until I got into the groove of things. I think also another element is that I haven't hung out with people. Mm-hmm. Or should I say the people I've hung out with are the same people I've hung out with over the past 2 years, which has felt like 20 years. So
we've grown a lot in those last 2 years.
We have. A lot of paradigms have been altered, but and so when you start interacting with different people, it's like, oh, this is a different thing.
Right. Yeah. It's like I've forgotten how to people. I'm a consummate extrovert. I'm kind of an ambivert. I can go both ways for sure. But the first time I walked into conference, I didn't have any of you guys with me, and it was frightening.
Yes.
It's like, there's my levels teachers, and that's all I know. Hi guys, I'm gonna be a barnacle on you now.
Thankfully, I latched onto you and your friend groups because I could rely on you to experiment for the year over and
I was Orph mom for a year for
yes,
sure.
You were.
Yeah.
So. Fun fact, nothing really related to Orph, but I still had to teach the day before.
Oh, you did?
So
when you hopped on a plane?
I hopped on. So I taught for half a day because I had to take care of this one situation.
Okay.
And then I left school at 12 o'clock, hopped on plane at 2 o'clock.
Oh, man.
Landed at midnight.
Uh-huh.
And then I didn't get to the
Eastern
hotel.
time.
Because exactly. Because it's Eastern time. So then I didn't get to the hotel till 1 o'clock. And,
that must have been weird.
I was so
you didn't run into any Orph people until the next morning?
No, that's not true, actually. I ran into some people from Phoenix who actually knew you because you did a session with them.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, we
online.
love Crystal. Yeah.
I love you too, guys.
It was online?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yep.
And so, we ran into them at the airport. We didn't Uber together because I just communication and whatnot. But anyways,
right.
And I got to the hotel at 1 o'clock. I was exhausted, and then I set my alarm for 5:30.
Oh my god!
Because I had the mentality that I want to have breakfast and talk with people, not knowing I would be dead exhausted, and most people don't want to talk at that hour either.
Yeah, people need coffee before talking.
I know, but still.
Have I taught you nothing?
Moving on. So, anyways,
if you ever meet me early in the morning, I just give me coffee and then I do love you, but my face won't tell you that until I'm caffeinated, just so you know.
Yeah. So
it's not anything anybody does.
It was, and then I ran into Dave, and I ran into also Natasha as well, then Lori and Sandra. So it was from San Diego, it was just myself, Lori and Sasha. Is that Sasha? Sandra. Who were there. And so it was good to just see them as well. And then we had our first session.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my first session was with Doug Goodkin. And his was very much like, it's 8 o'clock in the morning and we are starting up.
Oh yeah.
Because the topic was joy, jazz, and justice.
Oh, I love that.
And
every time I hear Doug speak, I feel like I just went to church.
He pulled no stops whatsoever, and it was very powerful. His idea was that you cannot have joy without justice, and joy is not fulfilled. Sorry, justice is not fulfilled without joy being there.
I love that.
And you can have joy and justice without jazz, but why would you?
Right.
So it was. A lot of the topics that I saw were very much around this being culturally responsive, being culturally aware. Social justice was also in some of the workshops as well, Doug's especially, whatnot. And so there was good to just listen for the first session and really like digest, hey, these are important things, because Doug teaches K through 8, and so some of the things that he teaches are on the more higher level of the elementary, but you can still do it nonetheless. It's still doable for the grades 5 and 6.
He also gets to see the kids more than we do.
I'm jealous.
I know.
Greatly.
It's fine. We're working towards it.
We're working towards that.
Working
exactly.
Yeah. That's really cool. I'm glad that you got to start with him. And then, so Doug's, I've heard great things about. And then the other one we were talking about before we started recording.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me.
Do you want to go chronological order, or just want to do...
you know what? Let's just talk about this one, because
yes. Okay.
I want to hear you talk about it on the podcast.
So one of the critiques I have about a couple of the workshops I went to is like, after these past 2 years, there's a lot of people who want to talk about really important topics. How to be, as I mentioned earlier, how to be more culturally responsive and how to integrate that into the classroom. But I feel like some of the sessions I went to, they try to shove so much in an hour and 15 minutes. And I remember one of them...
It's like, here's everything I've learned in the last 2 years, and I have to say it all, right?
And the thing is, like, they had good thoughts. Like, there was one session I went to specifically, I was with Victoria Bowler. Shout out to you. You can cross out your bingo card for that one. And if it wasn't for her, it would have been a tough situation, because the instructor had us talk to the person next to us for about 2 minutes. And there's like... They gave us so much information, and now process it with the person next to you. And if it wasn't for someone I knew already that she and I have a very similar wavelength, it would have been tough to wrestle with. My last 2 sessions I went to were with the Inoyue sisters. And it was, the first session was on using song and movement for discussing Japanese American internment. And it was... When I saw the title, I was like, "Oh, we're in for something."
We're going there.
But I did not realize how powerful and how moving it was going to be. And for the sake of making this podcast not 4 hours long, I will just hit the quick bits. But I loved some of the things that they had us do.
So it was participatory then? They weren't just telling you the story.
That was the big thing.
Okay.
They took a vertical slice on a huge topic, focusing on a very specific moment, which still allows us to understand, even though it was in the history, and it's historical, it's a moment in the past, we can still take ideas from this and bring it into the context of what happened in 2020, 2021, and how to be more culturally responsive in lieu of that. Anyways, and we did it through movement, we did it through song, and the sisters mentioned 4 lines that their grandparents who were in internment camps said to them when they were researching this. Like, one of them was, "We walked the same way." Another one was, "It was like a vacation." Another one was, "It was the saddest day." And I forget the 4th one, unfortunately. But then we were to do movement to it. Just close your eyes. Do some sort of movement that best reflects it. And I've actually stolen that. I've taken that idea. Like, closing your eyes and focusing on yourself. Because I had so many kids that like, "Oh, Jimmy stole my idea." I was like, no, this is about you focusing on your own self and what can you extrapolate from it. And then later on you can see it. Oh, me and Jimmy had the same idea. That's cool. It's not like he stole it. It's like we're just both in the same vibe, for lack of a better term. So we did movement on that, and then we went through letters that were used in that were recorded recorded from the time of internment. We also sang a song. Oh goodness, I wish I remembered the song. It's gonna be in the description below.
Okay.
We sang a song that was in Japanese. It's a song that's sung a lot. If you hear it in a different anime and whatnot, about the sense of home, like the longing for home. Okay. And another piece we sang was something that Mika Inoue wrote about snow. And it was like, I don't understand how this could be so beautiful. And at the very end, like after just hearing and moving and singing about the injustice that happened to these people, we lined up as if, because what they were getting, what all people, all the Japanese Americans were given, after the internment, we were given $25 and a ticket to go wherever they wanted. And so we lined up as if we were just the people at the train station. We were supposed to sing the partner song. We're singing the two songs together. And how those songs aligned was utterly powerful. And we walked in two lines and we passed by each other. And the part that hit me hard was when I sang my line, the line in Japanese about some longing for home. And meanwhile, the other group sang, I don't understand.
Oh, wow.
And I lost it. It still haunts me. This still haunts me.
Yeah.
And we can, again, as I mentioned earlier, we can take this injustice and think about other injustices that happen to us personally or to us aggregately. And this is not an easy topic to talk with our kids about, but you can at least have people relate it through song, relate it through movement. Yeah.
So it seems like what I'm hearing you say is there were so many really well-intentioned workshops that wanted to cram all of these incredibly dense ideas into a short amount of time. And what the Inoyue sisters were able to do is lead you gently through the story in such a way that you could absorb.
Yes.
And they kept it really simple with those 4 sentences, but then they took them deep.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think about this very tough topic, and it gives me hope, something that I've thought for so long. Orff oftentimes just dies in elementary school. This could be done in middle school, high school. Orff does not have to just exist in elementary. It can be done in all grades and all levels. It doesn't have to be just for the youths. But another thing that I really appreciated was they took these heavy topics, and sometimes when people get really passionate about topics, it can get kind of like angry and like a lot of the anger storm, to the point where like those who are not BBIA, those who are not of the marginalized groups, they feel oppressed and they feel like, oh, I can't absorb this because they're yelling at me. The Inoyue sisters did it with such grace and such like recognize that this happened to these to this population of people, and it's in
their family.
Yes, very much so. The second session was also that it was super important that people went to it, because it was, how do you take a story when it's not your shared narrative, when it's not your story? Because even though it was their grandparents' story, it was not their story. So how could they? So they did a lot of research. They talked to me afterwards. They did like months of research on it, and like how to make this work for a session. And it was really good. It was like one of the things that they said. Even in this portion, they still sang songs. They still did movement, just because we are participatory. We are still, even though we're not kids, we are still learners. And so they had us move and sing to the notion of, I understand one of the songs. Things I understand a little more. I understand, and I truly understand that I'll never understand. And that notion of we can. Like those who, if it's not your shared narrative, you can understand a pain, but you never truly want to understand. You get a little closer, but having the humility that you will never understand it is super important when you are trying to dissect like something that's not yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's such an important topic. I think sometimes as music teachers, I'm totally guilty of it. You hear a song or a story and then you're like, oh, that's so fun, or that's so great. And I want to do that with the kids in my music class. And isn't it great that this is from another country? But if you don't present it in the right way, you're taking it out of its context and you're stripping it of its power, and you're reducing it to something completely contrived instead of giving it the full cultural depth that it deserves to have if it's presented authentically. And I think, as you know, well-intentioned as we are as music teachers, we've got to put in the time, and that I think is one of the biggest issues. We have so little time to plan, and that's why we need our community. That's why we need each other, and that's why we have to keep talking about it. I just had a thought pop into my head too, so I'm going to backtrack about what you were saying about everybody trying to cram all this information. And isn't that so much like how we were after level 1 and 2, right? Like we took all these amazing things back to our classrooms, and every single day it was like, okay, now we're going to do this, and then we're going to try this, and we're going to try this, and the kids are like, slow down. Like
I'm still trying to find. Like I know I'm on my 7th year teaching, but like I'm still realizing, okay, it's time to whittle down. And I think that's something that's...
And go deep.
Go deep, exactly.
Right.
My principal called me out on it, actually. Yeah,
Oh, yeah?
He said, John, you spin so many plates, and that's great. It's time for... And next year, I want you to not do a new extension. I want you to dig deeper into a certain idea. It's like... But unfortunately, yeah. Anyways,
I like that.
The pandemic hit the next year, so.
Well.
But and then I learned something new, virtual ensemble. Anyways.
Oh God, never again, please.
But no, seriously. I'm still trying to whittle down. What do I want to be as a teacher? What I want to give my students everything, but that's just not going to happen.
No. It's not.
And I want it to be the kids learning. But in the end, I am the teacher, and I'm the one that's facilitating this learning. What do I want as... It's kind of awkward to say, but what do I want as my identity upon these kids?
Ooh.
It's really...
That's not awkward. That's important.
It's important. It feels icky because, once again, you as the teacher want the kids to learn as much as possible, but you are the teacher.
You are a mentor.
Yes.
And we have this tremendous privilege of spending time dealing with this intangible thing that we do as music teachers. We deal in emotion and in spirituality and in the things that make humans human, the most important parts of our humanity. And when it's done right, their little hearts are so open and they're so ready to receive. So, I mean, if you were to ask me, thank you for asking me.
Crystal, what is yours?
Why, thank you, Jonathan. I think all the time about if they come out of my class knowing how to listen deeply, I've done my job. Listen deeply to themselves and to what the most important things inside of themselves are. Listen deeply to others and openly and compassionately, and then maybe even work together to make something new. That's it. That's the heart and soul of it. The other stuff to me is kind of gravy. You know, I know that most of my kids are not going to go on to be professional musicians, but I hope that they understand on a deep level, you know, and they won't attach me to that memory. And that's fine. They're growing out of it. But if I can just help plant that little seed, that music is a tool that you can always use to help you dig through all the junk and get down to the base of what you really find important and what matters most, then I've done my job.
And I think when we're talking mission statements,
sure.
Like, I mean,
my whole life is a mission statement.
I mean, sure. I mean, when we talk about that, like, I feel like that's fine. It doesn't get icky there. I think the part that is formally icky is when we start, when I have to then decide, because when you make a mission statement, you're saying what you want. But then when you have to decide what you have to cut off, that's where it gets icky. Because for me, I want my kids to learn everything. And that's just not going to happen, obviously. No. But
okay,
you start, it's like, we've talked about this a lot. You've heard it through all the spiccatos I do. I resonate a lot with movement. But if I focus on movement, do I then neglect my kids from learning a different style, even if they resonate more with that different style? And so that's where it gets hard. That's where the tension goes or resides in.
I can understand that. I think I'm getting a lot better at really helping lead them through notation and writing down their ideas. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I am such a better musician now than I was when I was in college, and it's because of my levels training, and it's because of opportunities I've had to embrace being a musician without the added layer of having to prove myself as worthy to be a part of a particular musical group. But just really embracing that I make music because that's who I am and that's what I do. That's how I express myself. And so I'm looking for my kids, like, I want to give them tools to express themselves, and I want them to understand all these different trails that they can follow. It's like you can become a great instrumentalist, you can do vocal training, you can be a composer, and you can call yourself a songwriter, and you don't have to know how to write the notes down. If you make up a song and you sing it, that's valid. And I love that I have 6th graders that shamelessly call themselves songwriters, and they play me a voice memo on their phone with a song they wrote. It's wonderful, and I didn't have the courage to do that until maybe 2 years ago, because I have all of my things wrapped up with but I'm not worthy.
Okay, you saying that makes me makes me fascinated, makes me revise what I was saying earlier. Well, the ickiness, what I was saying earlier. Because we went to the same institution.
Did, yeah.
And
which was, lovely in so many ways and full of beautiful people.
But what you're saying, though, is you didn't feel adequate enough for, I don't know how you'd word it, but...
Enneagram 3.
Enneagram 6 goes to 3 in what's it called, stress.
Yes.
So I get you there. But also,
Please,
it's funny because I loved the theory portion. I don't consider myself a strong performer. And I consider you a much better performer than I am. And yet also I know that...
And I felt like a failure because I was not good at theory.
And we had similar teachers. And if I think myself... There are always going to be different caveats where the students will always feel inadequate in certain areas and will always feel strong in other areas.
It's not the professor's fault.
And that's the thing. So looking back as the professor, quote unquote, as the teacher to the kids, I should just chill with like my fears about not giving them enough because it's going to happen. But also you can... Okay. Anyways, I'm processing this all in real time right now.
Yeah. I mean, chill on it, reframe it. I would like to see you reframe it because I love you and I think you're a quality human. And that is the most important thing. Just keep developing yourself as a compassionate educator who really understands, deeply what we do and cares about the community, which, I mean, that's what you do. You care about people and you care about community and a sense of we're all in this together and we're going to process big things together and the rest will come.
Yeah. Speaking of understanding that I don't understand, that I'll never understand. I think this session, there's so many things I just love from the session, and I could not go to the next thing. I decided to step out for the next thing just because I need to process.
Yeah,
I had to process it deeply.
Yeah,
and so
I think that we should have a sensory room at future AOSA conferences. Just to throw that out there.
It's also
I want a waterfall and beanbag chairs, please.
It's frustrating because like you're in conference, you're only there for 4 days or less for some people, and you want to see the people, interact with people, but like I needed to step out, and so. But one of the things that I love is that what the Inoyue sisters provided me is that this is why I do what I do.
Yeah.
Because I'm here to teach people about the whole things, the all things, the everythings. And especially as being a Japanese American as well, like, of course it hit me. Something I talked to the ladies about was that I've read about Japanese American internment. I have family friends that were in Japanese American internment camps. But to move, to sing, to dance to it, brought it to a whole different level. And we can do the same thing to our kids for whatever topic you want. But I don't think we should shy away. We should, as much as we provide the beauty to the kids, we should not shy away from the hard ones as well. I know it's cheesy, the whole mountains and valleys, but it's true. Like, if you just provide the beauty, you then neglect the lower ends, which then make the beauty even more amplified. So
right, yeah, we don't want to flatten the experience because we're afraid of it, and kids need the opportunity to practice those darker parts of life in a safe environment.
Yes, very much so. And like I mentioned this several times, but I'm still working on it. But I want to create courageous spaces. And
courageous spaces, I like that.
Places where the kids recognize it's not going to be easy, because life isn't. Like, it's just not. Like, I'm still processing that, how the difficulties of life as a 30-year-old, but like, it's not. And if they recognize that at a younger age, but not be afraid of it, and just acknowledge it, but also acknowledge the beautiful portions as well, how much more full can we make life? And that's like, so. And on that same vein, so unless you had other questions about that,
no,
I'm gonna pivot to another one. I went to another Russell Nadal. His stuff is so good. His stuff is so good. And again, the thing he starts out with was, instead of us asking, what should I teach my students? What if we asked, what can we create together? And I love what he did. He gave each of us a piece of chocolate or a Starburst if you're not a chocolate person.
I knew I liked you, Russell.
I'm a chocolate person. Also, apparently, the chocolates he gave were Drew Bullington.
Oh.
Yeah, those chocolates.
Those ones, yes.
The good ones.
Yes, he came armed with several pounds of that stuff when he came to visit.
And so, and then after eating it, okay, write down some what are your thoughts, what are your emotions, what are things that you felt when you ate it. And then you split us up into how we process ideas, writing, through singing, through movement. Where did I go? I guess who?
You were there to play, so you went to your fun one.
But anyways, I'm not gonna go through the whole in-depth lesson, but it was great because oftentimes we think, we need to teach them this, and this. But what if we just took a simple idea that we all experience together and then create something from it? So we had to go into, I need to go into what the lesson was because it was needed.
Sure.
So we then got into groups based off of how we, create ideas. I was in the movement group, and we wrote down the words, and we then saw which words was similar or exactly the same as the other people in our group. And then we were to create a piece on the spot. With no preparation whatsoever. It was all just improvised.
Nice.
Essentially.
I like it.
And what if we dared our kids to do the same thing?
Yep.
But we need to create the structures to make that work.
Right.
But what if we dared to do the same thing? It was just great. It was just great. There's so many things I loved about conference, but I think that was probably the thing I got the most. What if we dared to do more? Or what if we dared to be courageous? Yeah.
I like it. Courageous spaces. I'm gonna be chewing on that one for a couple days. I like it. It sounds like it was magical. I'm so glad you got to go.
Yeah. It was just phenomenal also to reconnect with people and also meet people that I only met on Zoom before. So, and also to do bingo.
You're like, you have legs.
Yes. Yeah. So it was good.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, I believe it is time to take a hard left turn.
You can't say that. I say it.
Well, you've been talking more than me, so.
That's true.
Veer away, friend.
Okay. Well, it's season 3, episode 51. And if you're listening to it with us since episode 0, I applaud you.
God bless you.
Actually, no, send us a message. I'm curious. Who is there?
Know who you are.
Who are you?
Who have heard us talk for more than 2 days.
Yeah. I would like to, because I would love to give a shout out. Just saying. Because if you've been with us since the beginning, thank you very much. It's deeply appreciated. You've seen the shifts that have happened in this group. You've seen the shifts in our speaking ability. Because I know it was a hot mess at the very beginning. A lot of ums. I still say ums. But
it's okay.
You know what really helps is this community is amazing. But what helps it grow is if you do the likes and subscribes. I know it's icky, but it's needed because
it's not icky.
It feels icky.
Send us some love.
Send us some love. Do it.
Please.
I demand it.
I request it.
Okay. If you can go on to any of your podcast listening apps, give us 5 stars. It would be great. Do it on Spotify. Just try it. They don't. Just try it though. Just try it.
It's fine.
Yeah. Also, if you leave a review, that'd be super grand. Because we've been citing Coach Dad SP for apparently twice.
Somebody else leave us a review,
Someone
please.
else leave a review so we can give you a shout out. Be great.
Or Coach Dad, if you leave us another one, we'll read it.
Yeah. Just call yourself Coach Dad SP too, or something. Or if someone else wants to take over the moniker of Coach Dad SP, by all means, we will do it.
Dare you.
And also, I know only Sandra listens to us on YouTube, but if you may, again, this helps keep these lights on. It helps also grow this community. So do hit that subscribe button and also hit the bell to get some notifications. And if you aren't, stop that car. Stop the car. Pull it over. I know you're listening to it on podcast. Pull it over. Go on YouTube. Like and subscribe.
All right, you guys, we're coming back with a Spiccato after the break. I want to take a quick break and thank my husband, Bryan, who's been working behind the scenes producing these episodes every week on all of the platforms and on time. But you need to know that he is first a financial planner for Mission Trails Financial. Mission Trails Financial is a partner that seeks to guide clients in the journey to financial success. They believe that people need a financial advisor that aims to provide strategies for success. Mission Trails Financial helps people navigate investments, tax planning, and insurance. Imagine working with an advisor who isn't tied to specific brands. Mission Trails Financial has a fiduciary responsibility to act in the best interests of their clients by providing independent, objective advice. Their mission is to help clients accomplish their financial goals. As Joe Vitale once said, a goal should scare you a little and excite you a lot. Do yourself a favor and set up a time to chat with Mission Trails Financial. Visit www.missiontrailsfinancial.com or call 619-419-0238 to schedule a call. You'll be glad you did. We believe that leaning on professionals is how we get ahead. Check out the program notes for more information. Jonathan, I see that you are holding something.
I am holding something. So
what
I have an electric candle that we have a lot of electric candles in our house. Also, analog.
Is this one that smells like vanilla? Nope.
No.
Ours smell like vanilla.
Gotcha. We got a lot of these. We also have a remote as well to turn things on.
Yeah, we have those too.
It's pretty dope.
It is.
But Crystal, what would you do if you had an electric candle or candles? If you do candles, what would you do in your classroom?
I can think of a couple of things. I would love to have a few. So I have 2 classrooms. One of them is the orchestra room, and there are no windows in that room. And so I like to do things with light in there. And at Halloween, we did black lights. It was so fun.
Cool.
It was so fun. And so I'm thinking I would probably set up candles, and we would do a rhythm lesson. I would have them laid out in ta and TT patterns, and we would just kind of play that way. And I have a light up drumstick, so when you hit the ground with it lights up.
You had a lot of light stuff.
I
remember you showed
I like to play
last season with the finger ones.
Yeah,
that
the
was
finger
pretty
lights.
cool.
That was fun.
Yeah.
So I think I would do that. I would have a conductor hold the drumstick so that they would keep a steady beat, and then we would read the candle rhythms together. That's what popped into my head.
Interesting.
How about you?
I don't know. I brought this, but I should have it. Let's see here.
You don't know?
It happens.
Okay, you're fired. That's 2.
Cool. Then you're on your own. We mentioned this last episode. You are a Kirk. There's a lot of stuff, and I'm trying to push away from my comfort zone because, me and movement are kind of like,
You could do some cool movement stuff.
You could. I feel like you could also.
That's why I like light. It's very visual.
Things to do with the candle.
Could pass it.
Yeah. Do a passing game with it. I mean, you could start with the whole, just as you mentioned, the mood setter. Use them for concerts, whatnot. I mentioned earlier about the glow in the dark orbs that we've done for creating the mood when we sing Saturn.
Sure. I think it would be fun to do something like the idea of passing the piece.
So passing piece is cool. I have another idea of passing.
Okay.
More so the person with the candle is the leader, essentially. And so everyone's mirroring that leader while the lights are off. And then when it's time, they pass it to the next person.
Ooh.
Now, they don't have to use their hands per se, but the candle is the signifier of who is the leader.
Oh, that's rad.
There we go.
I like it.
If you have an idea what to do with electric candle, let us know.
Let us know.
You can
leave
email
a comment.
us at chaoticharmony@classroom@gmail.com.
Or leave a comment.
Oh, yeah.
Hit us up on Facebook. I believe you also have a song of the week. Round of the week.
So we were with Teaching with the Orf.
We were.
It felt like 4 years ago, but I know it wasn't. It was like
last
March?
spring. Yeah.
And so we were doing topics of using books in the focus on SEL. And the book I chose was Your Name is a Song, an amazing book. Do check it out.
It's wonderful.
I was going to say it was written by Zaretta Hammond, but it's not.
It's definitely not.
It's Jamila Tompkins Bigelow. And it's a beautiful book, beautifully illustrated, but something I do with my students is that there's a song they sing along with it as they read it, but also then they do name movement activities as well. But I want us to focus, since it's not round of the week right now, it's going to be song of the week.
Yeah.
This song was featured in that session that we had, which you could probably check. You can check it up, right?
Yeah, I believe the recording is available. If you go to teachingwithorf.com and click on online workshops and scroll down through the past workshops, I believe you can still order that. And if you can't, then you can email them at hello@teachingwithorf.com.
And so this song has a lot of jumps, but I felt like it felt well with the theme of the book. So can you give me an E? I need a actually, you know what? Forget
Close
it.
enough.
Close enough. If you're a pitch perfect, you can at me. Whatever. Your name is fire, gifted by the dreamers. Your name is precious. Your name is a song. Your name is fire, gifted by the dreamers. Your name is precious. Your name is a song.
Your name is fire.
Your name is fire.
Your name is fire.
Mm-hmm. Should we do solfege?
Your name is fire, gifted by the dreamers. Your name is precious. Your name is a song. Your name is fire, gifted by the dreamers. Your name is precious. Your name is a song. I dig it. I hear drums.
Yes, there are drums. There's also a xylophone part later on as
rad.
well for the upper graders.
It feels like a call, like a like a power song. I like it.
There's also some body percussion at lesson as well, which is more syncopated. So definitely the upper graders
for sure. Man, they struggle with the syncopation this year.
We're really learning a lot.
We are. My 5th graders sing like angels, though.
That's cool.
They do. They sound amazing.
So I decided actually. So I taught this lesson online before I taught it with teaching with Orff, and I had to cut certain things. It just didn't work as well online as much as I thought it would.
Right.
But then I brought it back. I brought it back. There we go. I brought it back in analog classroom this year. I was curious, how's it going to work with 1st grade? You know, it worked online, but no one knows really what works and what doesn't.
They had mute buttons, right?
It pulled off.
Like
even with those jumps, those jumps are not exactly pedagogically the best, but it worked. I felt like it hits the emotion better. It hits the emotion better, and I decided to try it out. 1st graders got it.
That's awesome.
Boom.
Yeah. Well, guys, thanks so much for listening. Yes. Be well.
But before you be well, Crystal, where can they find you?
Right. I forgot we do that. You can find me a lot of places. I am nurturing my teacher Instagram a lot more these days. So that one is Mrs.Pridmore, Pridmore. And that's Instagram.
You gave me flack for spelling out my name.
Yeah, I know, but people keep trying to Pridmore me. There's no E in the middle, okay?
That's what happens. That's why. And you can find me also on all the socials for the most part. On Instagram, Twitter, TikTok also. I started doing a couple of teacher stuff. And at Mr. Seligman, MrSeligman. And if you want to capitalize the S, that's how I do it, but you don't need to find me that way. Also, you can find us, our podcast, Chaotic Harmony, at CH Classroom on most of the socials. Twitter, YouTube. No, not YouTube. Twitter, Instagram,
YouTube's
Facebook.
The weird one.
YouTube is the weird one. Do you remember?
Yeah, that one's Chaotic Harmony.
Chaotic Harmony. Good job. And you can also email us at chaoticharmonyclassroom@gmail.com.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful week. See you guys here again soon. The Chaotic Harmony podcast is a joint project between Crystal Pridmore and Jonathan Seligman. You can find us online at chaoticharmonyclassroom.com. You can email us at chaoticharmonyclassroom@gmail and let us know what you think. Give us feedback about what you would like to hear in future episodes. We're on all the socials. Find us on facebook.com/chaoticharmonyclassroom. You can find us on Twitter at @CHClassroom, Instagram at Chaotic Harmony Classroom, and you can even find our episodes on YouTube. Chaotic Harmony is the name of our channel. Special thanks to Bryan Pridmore for his help with production and equipment. www.pridmoria.com. Don't know why. I always forget that I don't need to wear earrings when I'm wearing these giant headphones. Here. Okay.
I like that one.
All right.
You want to do one more just for
funsies?
Yes. Welcome to... No.
You're fired. and that's one.
And then there was one.